Hello everyone, I'm Regaling the Dragon. This is going to be my first video on making Fakemon. I've always made Fakemon since I was a kid, but I would always lose them in the bottom of my backpack. So most of them just ended up in the trash heap. So I'm going to make a region based off the Korean peninsula. Why, you might ask? It's because I'm actually part Korean and I thought this would be a fun way to explore my heritage. So I actually don't have a name for this region yet, so if any of you have any ideas on what I should name it, please leave it down in the comments. I was inspired by True Green 7's 4 artist videos, and I decided I was going to do one of his prompts. So I'll be doing the normal to abnormal prompt for this Fakemon. For the first stage, I want to use a quite mundane animal, and during my research I found about the Siberian weasel, which is one of the only few native weasels to Korea. And while I was looking up the history and mythology behind weasels, I found out about the Gyosin, household gods, among Korean shamanism. One of these gods was Yeopsin, a goddess of wealth who often transformed into weasels and snakes, which made this mon more than a perfect fit. While drawing this, I was taking heavily inspiration from Yongus and Jinbao. I made sure to give it a little mask just like the Siberian weasel has. And to allude to its Yeopsin inspiration, I decided to give it a thieving personality where it collects coins and gemstones. As well as alluding to its evolution, I gave spots that would become its tail pattern and its evolution. Say hello to the normal type Tresich, the hoarding Pokemon. This Pokemon collects treasures such as coins and gemstones, and even keeps it hidden inside its pouch. No one's sure as to why they collect these treasures, as they always keep it stored inside their pouch even after it's overflowing. Many locals will keep coins out to attract Tresich as they keep away other pesky Pokemon. Some families even keep the Pokemon as a safe for money and other precious items. For its evolution, I wanted to allude more towards its Yeopsin inspiration, so I made it upright and made its fur look more like a kimono. I also gave it a snake-like tail as a reference to Yeopsin's snake transformations. I also tried to use its arm poses to give off an aura of leadership and elegance. I also decided to give this evolution its own hidden ability, called Financial Advisor. It gives you a plus 10% money whenever this Pokemon is in your team. I'm a casual player, I have no idea about any balancing, so I don't know if this is overpowered or underpowered or what. So if you have any ideas how to fix the ability, please drop it down in the comments. Say hello to the ground and fairy type Ferocian, the family Pokemon. Ferocian are never seen naturally in the wild. Some families will pass down Ferocian from parent to child when they start their own family. If this Pokemon's family, human or Pokemon, is attacked, they will enter a frenzy to protect them. Some even fight until they die. In ancient texts, it is believed this Pokemon were once worshipped as gods. So some of you might be able to tell I have no idea what I'm doing with these stats. I'm just trying to keep them around the 500 range for the final evolutions. And I really don't care about balancing, so they're a little bit all over the place. So if some of you want to redesign the stats, go ahead and leave them in the comments. So I decided to do another one of True Green 7's prompts, the Protective Protagonist Pretty prompt, which was his first one actually. And I thought the perfect one to do this with would actually be the Moon Rabbit, which there's a bunch of different versions of it in Asian mythology. But obviously I went with the Korean one, which in that story, one of the gods comes down as a peasant and asks woodland creatures for an offering, and the rabbit can only give them grass, and out of shame they light the grass on fire and offer their own flesh to them. I can imagine this Pokemon almost frolicking, hopping and playing with other younger Pokemon and being a really good companion to young trainers, but I can imagine it's very hard to evolve. Now say hello to the fighting psychic Pokemon Doltaki, the young hero Pokemon. Some historians believe this Pokemon originated from the moon. This energetic Pokemon can be seen play fighting with other young Pokemon. Doltaki will fight anyone attacking its companions, even if they are stronger than it. They often gather grass and weeds, and using their psychic powers harden it into a deadly weapon. For its evolution, I referenced Lopunny and Cinderace for its silhouette. The Moon Rabbit is often depicted making mochi out of a cinnamon bark mortal and pestle. So for this form, I gave it a shield made out of cinnamon bark that magically develops mochi. And while I was making this, I realized the body was very bland, so I decided to move that grassy part of its pre-evolution's weapon into armor, wrapping around its body. I was going to go with a more heavily armored samurai look, but it made him look too clunky, so I switched it over to a more lightweight and agile design. And just like its pre-evolution, I made its armor made out of the crystallized grass that its weapon is made out of. I love how these guys turned out. They almost look like they could have came from the moon, and I can imagine them almost acting as guardians to other weaker Pokemon or sentinels in temples or shrines. Say hello to the fighting psychic type Altugi, the Jade Warrior Pokemon. Altugi has harnessed his power, making it far more calmer than its pre-evolution. It strategically releases its energy in battle, attacking with heavy blows. It used its psychic power to turn its bundle of weeds into crystallized jade for its armor and weapon. On clear nights when the moon is full, Altugi can be heard singing a melody, said to be more beautiful than anything you can imagine. So those are the first 2 Pokemon on my Korean region. I'm excited to continue this project, and I'm curious, what other Fakemon would you like me to make for my Korean region? If you have any thoughts of your own, leave them down in the comments, and I'll try to implement them in later videos. And for all those who reached the end of the video, thank you so much, and have a good day, good morning, and good night.